Well, hello. My name is Mike Stewart, and I'm running for State Senate in Tacoma's 27th District. Thank you very much for joining us, and what we're doing is we are introducing 75 issues as the Republicans and kind of asking people to begin to think with us and to figure out their own way how to continue this thinking. Because, our number one job in this campaign is to introduce new thinking. And then it's up to you to figure out how to keep this thinking going. And so one way that is social currency for us in this campaign, because we're not raising funds, is asking everyone out there to like and share our content. And so, that's the kindness that we can ask of you. So thank you in advance for any and all efforts. So in Washington with the Talent Recruitment Division, what we want to do is, we've talked about developing our own people at home. We've talked about being able to open up ourselves to the world, to a collection of leading partners. But what we also want to be able to do is to recruit the best to Washington. And a lot of times we just kind of leave it to fate and, we kind of hope, whatever happens. But I'm a believer that we can take a more pointed approach to, creating the people who create the jobs. Because, we want jobs and we want job growth, but there's an entire pipeline to this process. It's not just, offering tax breaks to the mature company. There's a series of things I think you can do, to keep people in Washington. Because, there's something in the water here. And entrepreneurism, people do a wonderful job here and they create and they grow. But, it's hard when people are bragging about how easy they make it for entrepreneurs out there. And then here, when, we have some of the biggest tax years in history, but all you hear about is figuring out how to punish people and tax people more and more. And it's like, take a minute to look at the harvest that your current process is getting. Like, why do you need to go after people more and more? Like, why not shape the present? But I don't fully understand that. But the point of this division would be to recruit, whether it's individual people coming out of colleges to start their companies here in Washington, whether it's companies that are already engaged in growth at whatever stage. I don't believe there needs to be any rules. From somebody who dreams of venture capital to somebody who dreams of the OTC market. There's different paths, but we want to partner with, people that can create around our strengths. Like, we don't just want to recruit for the sake. Think of it as a football team. Like, there's a role. We recruit people to play a certain position, to do a certain task, to lead in a certain area. If they can't do that, then there's not much value to us recruiting them. Because again, if we're growing that top line, then this provides the funding for all the different social programs, all the different educational aspects, like so many other things down below it. And the point of this campaign and the shape is not to go down, down to where, a lot of the current day issues are, because there is so much noise and there is so much competency there all, working on it. I don't believe, another set of eyes, another set of hands in the kitchen is what's needed. I think what's needed right now is somebody to get out front and say, these are some of the directions that we can possibly go into as a community, as a state, as a district. Whether we choose to go in these directions is up to us. And, people do that when they vote, but people also do that when they think. Like, to that person or those people that sit there and they're going through a lot of these recordings, like, it's pretty humbling, but, you're intaking a lot of content. And, we don't give examples of other people and, talk about other people because we're so content rich. And like, that is our luxury, is our content. And the fact that we can take it and develop it and so many things. Like, you talk about, housing and fighting affordable housing. Like, I've literally invented a platform, a series of apps that helps to drive down the cost of housing through eliminating time waste, through crunching out that communication waste. Like, you look at other people and they just talk. And like, I get it, because that's what people have always done, but we're also looking at introducing a new way as to how we compete which also means a new type of player that we bring in to compete on our behalf. And so, just like a corporation that wants to recruit the best people to work for it, I got to believe that Washington wants to create the best people to operate inside of it. And it's not about one type of thing. Like, I think there's so much we can do in the future. And like, how do we recruit teachers? How do we recruit all these different things? Like, what do benefits look like? What do unique benefits look like? Like, we talk about, this property down in Puerto Rico. One of the things, and I'll get into it later, how it connects in, is, we want people to be able to, in essence, collect these social points and be able to use them on stuff like vacations to Western Puerto Rico, where the properties cost us, next to nothing. And, we can create this almost carrot or this luxury for good behavior. And, if people do a bunch of community service, if people, win an award for teaching, or however the points are allocated, it's kind of like gamifying a reward system in society. And again, I think that's in the next, that's cluster 5. But yeah, we're getting through quite a few issues. But yeah, so that talent recruitment division, it's thinking about where Washington is going, and it's recruiting up front. And if it needs more at their disposal to help with the recruitment, we want to know. Like, we want to stay competitive. And as markets shift and as opportunities change and evolve, we want to be on the leading edge of that, because those are good jobs at the state level. I've personally engaged some people at the state level, and I don't know what their acronym was. They're all acronyms. But they've been wonderful. And I think there's great programs out there too. And this gets back a little bit more to the communication. But again, this talent recruitment division, like, we want to keep our best. We want to recruit, the best companies and people from around the states, with emphasis on the West. And we want to create a place, internationally, where people want to be and they want to live and they want to create. And so, that's kind of the focus of what it is that I hope to kind of bring into office, is just an attitude of, wanting to, become the house, become the new hotel down in Vegas where everybody wants to stay, everybody wants to gamble, everyone wants to spend their money, everyone wants to have a good time, everyone loves the food, everyone loves, how they're treated. When they leave, they want to tell their friends, they want to come back, they want more and more engagement. And so that's who we want to be. And, but just like these big old Vegas casinos have to recruit, the biggest of the players to stay and, have coordinators for events and different ways to bring in people, we have to do that also as a state. And, we can sugarcoat it and we can go down to different layers, but it always has to come back to that top line revenue. How do we bring more top line revenue into the state? And so that is my, my issue on the talent recruitment division. And maybe if I said it slower earlier and I was just like, oh, that doesn't work. But anyways, so that should wrap up our issue here, and that would be issue 20. So we're making some good headway.